Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hormone Helper podcast. I'm Coach Andrew, your hormone helper from Fit for All Fitness. I personally coach over 1,600 men and women to help better understand their hormones so they can lose weight and get their metabolism back on track. With this podcast, you're going to hear from me and my special guests about everything from metabolism to thyroid to weight loss. And we even talk a little bit of sexy time as we chat to spread more knowledge thick like butter on your hormones. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to share, so let's do this. All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Terrible Matthew McConaughey impressions aside, we are officially 1 week down from the start of the new year of 2023. Woo! Last episode, I talked a lot about what I've learned as a person through the last year, along with really how I focus on setting more intentions rather than actual hard goals. And this led to some really interesting conversations on Facebook, people asking me a lot of different questions on kind of what goals are, what they want to be able to achieve. And then we started having a lot of conversations on our program. So this episode, I wanted to answer some of those Facebook and podcast questions on our 8-week hormone program that, of course, we're taking applications for currently. I say, of course, because it's the beginning of the new year, and that seems to be when people reach out like crazy. So I've opened up some more application spots. So over this past weekend coming out of the new year, I've gotten asked about what's involved, what our process is, and really how we work with our clients. So I'm going to clarify what's what. So for those who are ready to make that life change and actually commit to joining some type of coaching process, then of course they can get that support. Now, when I compiled and pulled all of these Facebook questions, I realized that a lot of people were asking the same type of questions. So I'm going to try to pull these questions into some type of order. That way we're not jumping around. And I've only selected the questions that have been repeated frequently. That way I can explain the most info. So let's get right into it. Question number one here is, why are all of your programs focused on hormones so much? This is a fantastic question. A lot of people think that because I'm a certified nutritionist as well as a certified personal trainer, that really I should just be focused on doing workouts or doing just food stuff by itself. But the reason why we put such a high focus on hormones for our program is because we, and by we I mean me and my team, we consider the hormone system being kind of your operating system that runs in the background for all of your body and metabolism to be able to function. So if you were to think of a computer, your computer is running a lot of different programs, and basically your body is one big computer. So you've got a program for metabolism, you have a program for muscle mass, you have a program for digestion, you have a program for processing information, so the clarity in your brain. Every single process has a program. And although you can do things like strength training and activity to work and improve the hardware, so this is like upgrading your computer so it's got the newest type of bits and pieces, it doesn't change the software that actually runs the computer. So you could have a brand new computer with all brand new parts. If you were to install something like Windows 94 on that computer, it's going to run terribly slow, and you're not going to be able to run 95% of these programs that you're supposed to be running in the background with ease. That's essentially what hormones are. Hormones run and operate the back end system. So they're measuring how your digestion is, how much muscle mass you have, the speed of your metabolism, what your active stressors are, and as it gets all of this information, your hormones are then going to output for your recovery and for your improvement of those certain areas. So what I was finding as being a coach when I started as a personal trainer is when someone solely works on their activity, but they don't do anything to change their hormones or their nutrition, what happens is muscle growth will go up into a certain point, and then they will get a hard plateau on their results. So these are the type of people who have to keep exercising and have to keep being active in order to just keep the results that they have. And the moment they stop or they slow down on their activity, then all that weight comes back or all of these issues reoccur. Likewise with nutrition, if you just change your food, and there are a lot of people out there, maybe you're one of them, in which you're eating really healthy foods and you're eating really clean foods, but yet you can't drop weight at all. Your IBS and your digestive systems are still a mess, and you're still having a really bad time with your energy and with your cravings. Well, in that case, the food is not enough. So if training is not enough by itself and food is not enough, then this is where we need to look at, well, what causes those things to run effectively in the background? And that's why the hormone focuses, or the program focuses on hormones. That being said, our programs are all about making sure that we're encompassing the entire solution. So I'm a big believer is if you know better, you're going to do better, which means that when we're working with clients, we're not just focusing on hormones. That's kind of what gets you back to the way that you should be running. Then we start focusing on the habits, the mindset, the routines, and the systems needed for you to be able to maintain those hormones and your results moving forward. That's a great question. Question number 2, which is the most frequently asked, is how exactly do you change the hormones back? And am I going to have to take medication or supplements? So the way that we change hormones back is through micronutrients. So I'll answer the medication and the supplements all in one shot. There is no medication as a part of this process. I'm not a doctor, and the entire goal with this program is to do everything holistically using food. So this is 90% nutrition based, and we fix the hormones by balancing and putting into your diet something that's called micronutrients. So I've mentioned this in the episode talking about micronutrients versus macronutrients earlier in my podcast. You can search that up by title. But basically, micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals needed to be able to make hormones happen. So we have our 16 main vitamins, and then we have 13 main minerals. And of course, there's a lot more vitamins and minerals than that. But those 13 and 16 basically make up the majority of all of our hormones. So things like zinc, magnesium, potassium, the iodide, all of that stuff that we consume, we need to eat it in the right amounts, which means that we need to have specific foods into someone's routine for them to be able to get the amounts needed to change whatever hormone that they're doing in that moment. So that's how we change these hormones back. First thing is we make sure that we're implementing all of these micronutrients into someone's diet. Now, once someone has the nutrients, then we have to work on them actually being able to digest and absorb the nutrients, because just because you have the nutrients within you doesn't mean that you can actually eat and absorb them. So the second focus is working on your digestion. So a lot of people who have digestive distress, who struggle with bloating, constipation, IBS-based symptoms. That type of stuff prevents your body from digesting food, which means it's going to prevent you from digesting and breaking down these micronutrients that you're putting into your body. So by improving the digestion, we allow the body to absorb and get more of these raw building blocks. And then when we go to sleep for our recovery, and that's where these building blocks can start to work on the hormones and bring them back in. So from a medication perspective, there is no medication that's involved in our programs because we're doing this holistically through food. Now, of course, there are people we work with who have to be on medication or who have medical issues that require medication. In that case, we're working with your medication to make sure that we're optimizing as much as we can. In regards to supplements, the word supplement means in addition to, not in replacement of. So if we feel that there is something that someone needs and there's just no way that we can get it or put it in with food, then there might be things that we recommend. So for example, if we encounter a woman who's very, very low on iron, iron might be a good thing to supplement with to help improve their levels. Or if we are working with someone who's having a lot of digestive distress, then a digestive enzyme might be a great idea to be able to improve the digestion, and in which case we use those supplements on an as needed basis. So they're not a mandatory part of our programs, but they can definitely improve and speed up the way that people get results. For our third question, what do I get while working with you? And every time I see this question, And normally it's from people on Facebook. To be honest, I don't quite really understand what the question is looking for. Like, what do I get while working with you? Um, but I think what it actually means is, and the assumption that people are asking is, what is involved in your program? I don't look at things like, what do I get? Like, you get a meal plan, you get a coach, you get this, because I can give clients as many tools as they could possibly carry, but if you don't have enough willpower, or determination to use the tool, if you don't have the understanding of how and when to use the tool, or if you've used a tool in the past and it's failed, more tools and more stuff is not going to make you more successful. It's just going to make you more confused. So that's why I don't get when people say, like, what do I get with working with you? I don't understand that. Second part that I don't understand too is, some people think that by getting more calls with a coach, you see success more frequently. But the reality is a call with a coach or working with a coach isn't about speaking with a coach every day. It's about, I have someone that when I'm struggling, I can go to. And when they give me something to do, I implement it as fast as possible. So that's why I've kind of changed this question to, like, what's involved in our program, because there's a lot of things that are a part of this. So really, we have what's called our Vantage process that is involved in our program. So Vantage actually stands for something. So it's virtual. That's the V. Accountability, nutrition, and training. So that's the VANT part of it. And the AGE is accelerating growth through education. So our Vantage process has just that. It has accountability with it, in which case people are hopping on coaching calls. They're working with a coach one-on-one, depending on the support that they selected. And then there's the nutrition part, which essentially, from grocery store to dinner table, we are making sure that everything is taken care of. How much food you need to eat, what types of food are going to be right for your body type, how to balance your hormones using the nutrition. We take care of all of that. The training piece is really about building an exercise routine, and the exercise is really 20% of this. That's going to be able to help you build lean muscle tissue and help keep you consistent with your activity. You don't need to buy any crazy dumbbell equipment, whatever. We work with whatever you've got. Now, the accelerating growth through education is where the learning from our group coaching calls comes in, and the custom modules that we build for your health moving forward. So after, when the program is done, and even during the program, you're going to get access to modules that we build out for our clients, which is going to give you a referral piece to come back to whenever you need to make adjustments on your own. So while I'm teaching people what foods are going to be best for their body type, how to remove their bloating, how to get their thyroid to stop being overactive or underactive, then we're putting in these video modules for you to have as your go-to guide if this happens in the future. So I'm a firm believer that you don't have coaches forever. I don't expect anyone or to ever work with me for a lifetime. So my goal is to teach you what you need, so then afterwards you can have success moving forward after the program without me. So think of it like we're building a how-to guide for you that you're going to be able to reference both during the program and after the program. And that's the accelerating growth through education part. So that's basically what is involved in our program. Of course, the ongoing communication with the coach, there's going to be adjustments, check-ins, that type of stuff, but that's what's in it. For our fourth question, can you help me with weight loss with this program? Yes. Hormone Reboot program and even our Vantage program, yes, they are based on hormones. However, weight has a lot to do with hormonal imbalance, especially the hormone called estrogen. So estrogen is your fat storage hormone. So if you have high estrogen, that means you have high fat storage, meaning you're going to have high fat. So when we're working with people on the program, yes, weight loss tends to be something that is almost every secondary part of everyone's goal. But normally there's other primaries as well too. So if you have thyroid issues, if you have digestive issues, if you're struggling with cravings or energy level, if you're struggling with a high amount of stress, or you're having a hard time maintaining the results that you have now, that is basically what we can help with our programs. So yes to the weight loss, and yes to all those other things that I just mentioned. For question number 5, a lot of people ask us, can you guarantee that I'm going to get to my goal? Or can you guarantee that I'm going to get to a certain result? To that, I have one guarantee. I guarantee you that if you don't make a change with or without me, and you keep doing what you're doing now, you are going to be in the same place another year from now. A lot of people want guaranteed results because either they've tried programs before that haven't worked, or they have done things on their own and they haven't been successful. So they're in the half commitment zone. This is what I call the half commitment zone, where someone's like, I will make myself committed providing you guarantee that I'm going to get the result that I'm looking for. And you all know that life doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but commitment is being committed regardless of whether or not you're going to see the result. Now, one thing that I will say is this. I'm very happy to say that we have an incredibly high success rate. We're at 92% for the year 2022. That being said, you're like, Andrew, there's 8% of people that aren't successful. What the heck? Yeah, you're right. There is 8% of people who aren't successful, and I'm open about that. 6% of those people either don't apply the process or stop showing up through the process. That hurts me as a coach. I do my best to make sure that everyone is successful, but I can't guarantee that you're going to see a result if you don't show up to your coaching. I also can't guarantee you're going to see a result if you don't make any of the changes. So if people don't do the nutrition, or if they're not willing to make a certain change in their lifestyle, then they're probably not going to see the result that they've started. And the reason why that percentage is so low is because I do my best through our application process to vet and make sure those people don't enter our community and our program. I'm very, very protective of our community because there are other people who are going through the same challenge. But also as well, I want to make sure that if I'm going to invest my time, effort, energy, and coaching into this person, that you do succeed, because there is nothing more heartbreaking for me if someone, of course, doesn't succeed through my process. And imagine where I would be if everyone who joined me failed. I probably wouldn't have a coaching business, right? So there's no guarantee. Now, I said that 92%, 6% people, they don't show up for themselves. What about this other 2%? So there's 2% of the people who, whether they have some type of a medical issue or maybe something wasn't disclosed, the program doesn't work and they don't see the full of what they were looking for. So maybe someone has some type of a cancer and we just can't get them all the way. Or someone has a progressive thyroid issue and they previously told us that their thyroid was fine. While we do work naturally and holistically, there are cases that we refer out, or that at some point in the journey we have to involve doctors with, because we cannot fix every medical issue. I would love to be able to do that, but a fine example of this is people with PCOS, where there is a medical issue concerned and it's not going to be fully fixed using just food. We're open about that because, again, we try very hard through our vetting process to make sure that. But the only guarantee that I give is that if you don't put in the effort, you're not going to see the result. And if you're not willing to make a change, then that change isn't going to happen. So as long as you're willing to follow what a coach tells you, you're willing to implement as quick as possible, of course you're going to see a result because you're actually putting the effort into this. The sixth question here I got is it personalized coaching? Yes. No two people's goals are the same and no two people's challenges are the same. So I'm not going to give you a same nutrition program as I gave another person, because that's not personalized or customized. That's just cookie cutter and you're getting the same thing that everybody else gets. Well, I will say that a lot of people think that they have special challenges. At this point, I mean, we've seen every challenge. There's nothing that doesn't surprise me when we're hopping on our discovery calls. While there are rare circumstances where I'm like, oh, wow, that's new, I know how to work our ways around it. So for a personalized coaching, whether you're working in our group coaching or you're working just one on one with me, everything is still custom because your body type is different, your hormone panel is different, your age is different, your ethnicity is different. And yeah, it all matters when it comes to hormones and when it comes to your metabolism. Um, which leads to kind of the seventh question. This is together. Is this like working with a naturopath? The difference between me and a naturopath, so as a registered nutritionist and someone who's certified to be able to make adjustments to hormones using food, I can tell you what to change in terms of your nutrition. I can build out a nutrition plan and protocol for you. And I can make dietary recommendations as well as I have the certifications to change your training and exercise routine through this process. Where this is not like working with a naturopath is besides our first initial meeting where I might ask for some blood work, there's not blood work involved. There's not heavy amount of supplementation or protocols involved. And that's because that's very difficult to maintain moving forward. I actually debated for a really long time, do I become a naturopath? And I ultimately decided against it because it actually wouldn't change the way that I'm helping our clients now. So, naturopaths, unless they have certifications with food, can't really tell you what to eat. They can just give you some guideline or whatever. So, basically, where I believe true holistic change is doing something naturally so it's sustainable and maintainable. So for that means someone eating real natural food that they can pick up at any grocery store, someone making realistic changes to their habits and their routines, and having an exercise routine that they can do consistently. I don't need to be a naturopath to do that. The only thing that a naturopath would give me is a diploma to either prescribe any medical based supplements or to prescribe a specific, this is what you must take this supplement at this time every single day. And I really don't need that to do what I'm doing already. So it would kind of be lost knowledge. And that's the difference. So that being said, I do work a lot closely with naturopaths because naturopaths don't do the food part and I don't do the medical supplementation. So we partner with a lot of naturopaths and clients who use a naturopath so I can help them with the food and they can get that support if they need to. Our next question is, what kind of results can I see? I get this a lot from mainly from women coming out of pre and post pregnancy. And they're like, what can I expect going through this process? The results through this process really depend on what your goals are. So when people join any of our hormone programs, they have a million different goals. Could be weight loss, could be inflammation, it could be improving thyroid, could be getting rid of the baby weight, could be making sure that your hormones are in a stable place to have a baby. It could be dealing with high stress and cortisol from overwork or exhaustion. All of these things are going to vary. What type of results can you see? I'll give you some common ones that we see. So, like in terms of people from a weight loss perspective, people will lose anywhere from 2.2 to 3.2 pounds per week if weight loss is one of their goals. That's something we do very easily, and that's a very quick fix through the adjustment of the program. In terms of inflammation, people we work with, normally they can be inflammation free in their stomach. And by inflammation free, that means you're not having any digestive issues. Your digestion is very steady and stable. That being said, of course, you have to keep it that way, but we can get that inflammation to go away. And when it comes to metabolism and strength issues, we have the ability to, of course, help people build lean muscle tissue and help stabilize their metabolism. So those are the type of results that you can see through the process. We have an amazing page called our Client Success Stories on our website. If you go to our website, fit4allfitness.com, so FIT, the number 4, ALL fitness.com, and you go to client success stories, you'll see tons of different varied results and varied people of all different ages. So if you want more on those results, take a look at that, and you can see. I'll make sure to drop that link in the show notes. We got 2 more questions left. Number 9, how many people have you worked with? This is great. So to date, I'm very proud to say that we have worked with over 2,800 people in the span of the 8 years that we have had. 7 years that we've had, almost 8. That's why I said 8. 7 years of working and coaching with people. So this is basically a testament, which I'm very proud of. One, I'm proud of the trust. I'm proud that people have trusted us so much through this process. But secondly, this really shows that this isn't an experimental process. Like and this is, when I said the special snowflake or the special problems that people experience or challenges, with 2,800 people, this process is tried, it's tested, it's proven. We have the same system and steps that we work through everyone. I know that I'm working on balancing the micronutrients first, stabilizing digestion to help people absorb, make sure that people feel constantly full and they don't have any weird hunger and cravings. And then we start to stabilize any other metabolism issues. And by following this process, we can make sure that people get consistent results every time. And that's because we've literally worked with it with over 2,800. So that's a big thing. Question 10 is the big one. So many people ask this as I start answering their questions back and forth, and I wanted to bring it up. And that question is, why do I have to apply for your program? Our program is application only for a few reasons. I mentioned the first one earlier, where I want to make sure that someone is going to not fall within that 6% of unsuccess. So I have to see, judge, and assess someone's commitment level to their goals and to themselves. If you can't be committed to yourself as a coach, I can't force you to do anything you don't want to do. And I won't do that, because if I have to, put a gun to your head or yell at you every day to do something, one, that's super stressful for me, and I totally live a stress-free life. I'm not about that. The second thing as well is that just means that you're always going to have a gun to your head to continue to keep your results, and that's not realistic. So the first part of this is for that 6% that I don't want them to fail. The other part for the application, is I need to see if I am the best fit to coach people through our process. Like I said, us being hormone coaches, we get a lot of people who will have medical issues combined with their hormone issues. Sometimes I'm not the best fit. Sometimes someone comes to me and I say, wow, you need to see a doctor for this, or you need to surprisingly go to emergency or see someone else other than myself. And in that case, if I'm not the best fit, then I will connect you with that person or make that referral or tell you where you should go. With that as well, a part of not being the coach for you is sometimes someone will set a goal that's either not realistic or it's something that maybe shouldn't be addressed first. So I want to lose 100 pounds in 4 weeks. I've heard it and I'm like, that's not possible. And they're like, well, that's what I want. And then that's where I have to say, well, I don't think I can be your coach. Sure, extreme results can happen and people can do anything to the extreme workouts, extreme dieting, excessive application of certain tools. But what ends up happening is either it screws up your hormones for the long run, or you lose the results and then it gains right back. And through this process, I'm here to make sure that the people who learn our tools understand that moving forward, they actually have the ability to keep their results for the remainder of the foreseeable future. That's what I want. I want you to be happy with yourself, to be happy with your body, to be full of energy and live the life that you want to live. I don't want you to go down this cycle again. I don't want you to have this struggle again, because I know that it's really hard to reach out to a coach in the first place. So if you're the kind of person that's like, I really had to muster up that energy to do this, don't put yourself through that again. It's better for you to take inspired action, take care of whatever health challenges you have, and then do that. So the application is really to vet the people who may not be a good fit, and to make sure that we can actually help you with the program. So now that I've answered all the common questions, I want to add in a few other things as well. While the program is focused on balancing your hormones, we have to work with people on what their individual challenges and needs are. So, for example, with a few clients, I'm working with a client right now who's been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So that's a thyroid condition. And we're working to stabilize her hunger and fullness, as well as help her build muscle so she can basically just keep her energy joints or her energy up and joints pain free. We have another client who just finished transitioning into postpartum. So basically, she's just finished having a baby, and her goal is to get rid of just that pregnancy weight in a stable way and to get her estrogen stable. So then her digestion and her bloating starts to return to normal and her weird bowel movements go away. So for that, we're going to have to make different adjustments between those two people. From the top of my head as well, we've also just finished recently working with a corporate exec who was basically just all anxiety and a huge ball of stress. So we helped him make better boundaries, and that involved setting time for his personal workouts, changing his food to bring the cortisol down, teaching him better sleep habits to improve his overall energy. And, he was able to drop and stop coffee altogether. So it's really working on individual goals, because no two people are the same. Another important thing to say too is that the goal of our coaching is to really make sure that you learn the tools on how to manage this moving forward. I can tell you from personal experience, there's nothing more frustrating than following the guidance of a coach. You work hard to make the changes for your nutrition and your routine. And then it's like after some big life event, you're just left clueless on how you adjust everything and how you move forward with the way your life is now. The average person who comes to us does about 4 programs. So they try at least 4 things, whether it's with another coach or by themselves, before they're like, I'm stuck. Feeling lost is not good. It makes you feel crappy. I've experienced this myself. I've worked with many coaches on my own hormone journey, and I recognize the importance of showing someone what to do after they're done working with a coach. So when we work with clients, I transition through what I like to call a few learning periods. So this really helps them grasp the knowledge and then understand what they can do and can't do, so they can learn the basics moving afterwards. So the first learning period is there's the I say you do period. Basically, that's where like I make the choices and make the adjustments needed, and all you do is implement. So someone will join the program. I'm creating their nutrition. I'm working with them with the exercise. And I say, I want you to do this, this, and this for this week. 3 things. And they go, amazing. And they do them. At the beginning stages, there's not a lot of the I will teach you how to do this stuff, because I want to get rid of your symptoms. I don't want you to have low energy. I don't want you to be chronically fatigued. I don't want you to feel bloated all the time. It's really hard for you to be like, oh, I'm willing to learn this when you feel like crap. So my goal is to make sure that you learn this stuff right away. And then there's this second learning phase, which is the I say, you learn, you do. So this is where I make changes to your routine and your protocols. I show you how to make these changes at the same time. So I'm like, I'm changing this for this reason. I'm adding these foods to help with your estrogen and these foods to do this. So you're learning at the same time, but you're still not making really the decisions. You're like, okay, coach, I got it. I'm going to apply. Then the final period is basically where you're going to learn. So, and you're going to do. So basically it's the, you say I confirm, and you do. And that basically means that normally this is like the last 2 weeks of the program. You're going to show me the skills on how to make changes. I'm going to confirm what the best move is for you as a coach, and you're going to do it. So moving forward, I'm going to say, so these are the tools that you're using. This is how you maintain your food on your own. And then you're going to come back and say, okay, well, next week I have a few outings here, or I'm traveling here. So my plan is this, this, and this. And at that point, I go, that's a great idea. Or, hey, I would do this. And then after we agree on your next action steps, you do it. So through this process, I'm slowly handing you a baton like a person on a run, where as part of this circuit, we're running together. I pass you that baton, and then you take off on your own. The purpose of this is to be able to learn and then be able to integrate by yourself. So that's about all that I wanted to add on our program. And as I said at the beginning, we are currently taking, I believe it is 25 people. No, it's 25 males and 25 females for applications at this moment. So if you are interested in the program, you have a few hormonal issues, you might be looking to lose weight, and you're like, I'm ready to go, or you have questions, then what I encourage you to do is you can hop on our website and you can book a discovery call, or you can just send me an email in the show notes there. So I'll say the website again. So it is www.fit4allfitness.com. So that is www.fit4allfitness.com. And you can use the ask questions box at the bottom of the page, or book a discovery call to chat with me. Well, it seems I'm all out of info juice for today. That's all for this episode, and thank you so much for listening. Please leave a raving review for me if you've learned something good, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're in the mood for some more great content and tools to get your hormones on track, why not check out our free Facebook group and the blog on our site? We do amazing weekly trainings in our group that me and my wife call Tea and Teachings that give good tips for anything hormones and metabolism related. It's also a great community where you get to share your goals and success with like-minded people just like you. I'll make sure to drop both the Facebook group link and the blog link in the show notes for you. Or if you're ambitious like me, the name of the group is Weight Loss and Balanced Hormones. It'll say Fit for All beside it with a picture of me. So come and join us and have more fun.